After 15 years of publication, Tower of God has hit a new milestone, and with it, we may have just gotten our first real hint at when SIU plans to end his masterpiece. But this news comes with a giant question mark hanging over it. So here's the deal. Everything I'm about to tell you should be taken with a fair bit of skepticism. Because this information doesn't come from an official interview, blog post or WEBTOON press release. Now, as you may know, SIU was a guest at this year's AX, and naturally, fans took the opportunity to ask him a few questions. One of them asked how much of the story is complete, and SIU's answer? About 60%. This came from a Reddit post, which I have linked down in the video description. The fan not only summarized what SIU said, they even filmed the interaction. So yes, this did come from SIU himself, but still, I would take it with a grain of salt. Not because I think he's lying, but because, well, authors are notoriously bad at estimating this kind of thing. And I'm not trying to throw shade here, it's just the reality of long-form storytelling. Let's look at some track records for an example. Oda said One Piece would end in 5 years. That was 6 years ago, and we're still not at the finish line. Isayama said Attack on Titan would end soon, back in 2017 or 18, and it did end 4 years later. Now, why do authors get this wrong? Shouldn't they know best? Well, it's a bit tricky. Because once you are deep into a story, especially one with hundreds of characters, dozens of factions and timelines, you start uncovering new ideas, which you want and need to explore. The plot expands, which naturally means the ending is getting further away. But let's assume, just for argument's sake, that SIU is right, that we are really 60% through Tower of God's story. Let's think about what that actually means. The series started in 2010, we are now in 2025. That's 15 years to get through 60%, and if the pace stays consistent, then the final 40% would take another 10 years, putting the ending sometime around 2035. That would mean Tower of God will have run for over 25 years by then. That's a full quarter century. In fact, if 652 chapters is 60%, we are looking at a projected total of around 1090 chapters. That's roughly 440 more to go. Which also means we are not at the final stretch, not even close. And if you've been following the story, that honestly shouldn't be surprising to you. There are so many plot lines that haven't even properly started yet. For example, the 30-month series, and we still don't know the full truth behind Arlene and V and the war that started the tower's history. We haven't even met all 10 family heads, let alone explored their full motivations. So how do you wrap all of that up in just 40%? Realistically, you probably don't, unless the final arc is insanely dense or SIU starts skipping huge narrative beats, which I can't imagine he would. He has been very careful with his story so far. So where does that leave us? Right now we are in a waiting period for season 4, and season 3 wrapped up with a war between the Lopobia and Popidao families, which gave us the fall of Traumarai and massive shifts in the tower. We've only reached like the 50th floor. We're not even halfway through the tower in terms of geography, let alone narratively speaking. But thankfully, we don't have to wait long for more content, as the Urek Mazino side story officially launches on WEBTOON starting on July 28th. So whether or not SIU's 60% comment is true, it does communicate something important. Tower of God is still building its story, and I'm looking forward to the potential next 10 years. But do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think 60% sounds about right for where we are in the story? Do you want the story to go on for 10 more years? Or are you ready for Balm to get face to face with Jahad? I'm Dennis, and as always, thanks for watching and I hope to see you again. Bye!